loneliness. I don't really know how to start this video off since it's my first time actually trying something like this. I don't actually know how to properly grab you by the balls. I could try and be deep and talk to you like loneliness. Even in a world more connected than ever, loneliness seems to have skyrocketed. Loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about feeling unseen, even in a crowded room. Something like that, but you know, it ain't me. For the longest time, I've been trying to find a way to post on social media and actually be happy with it. And so I'm trying this thing out. What is this thing, you may ask? I call it Yappin with Max. I'll be sitting on my bedroom floor and I'll be yapping about various topics that somehow relate to my webtoon, Akane. Link in bio, read for free. That means I'll also be accompanied by my trusty partner, Finley. Say hi, Finley. Since this is Yappin with Max, I found the most fitting subject to talk about for my first video was loneliness. Yappuccinos, Yappatrons, Yappin. For those not familiar with those terms, to boil it down, it just means to talk excessively. Talking a lot and for long periods of time without getting tired of hearing your own voice typically stems from loneliness. Could be loneliness found now in the sense that not many people actually take the time to talk to you, listen to your interests or your problems, which is explored via he's like a shonen protagonist, but in the wrong series. Everyone around Cody are rendered in darker colors and all use genuine weapons. Cody is meant to stand out in color and fighting style. I mean, Broski straight up uses a pipe wrench. All of this to illustrate his further disconnection with the people around him. What Cody wants is a deep connection and understanding that he feels most people won't or don't relate to. So in his mind, he feels the need to prove his existence. So the lack of a connection leads him to become a Yappatron 5000. If he keeps on yapping, maybe someone will finally understand him. Funny side thing is that the other characters always cut him off. The only times they don't is when Mark just listens to him and doesn't talk, which leads Cody to talk in paragraphs. So, Finley, any thoughts on Cody? Children. Wait, no, that sounded weird. Child loneliness. It can come in many forms, and yapping is definitely there, but so is trying to comfort yourself with yourself. What I mean by this is such things like imaginary friends, or in some cases, talking to your plushies as if they were real people. Once you reach a certain age, these things tend to stop happening. So talking to objects or even yourself out loud is a way to keep your mind at ease, that you aren't actually alone. And so here we have no parents and his sister is barely home. He spends most of his days alone in the apartment, talking to himself about his day as if someone would actually be listening to him. And of course, Mr. John, a plushie he talks to. He also dabbles in a little bit of art to quench his thirst for validation. So how about we go over loneliness in a different direction? Rich people, narcissism, superiority complex, money. Tricking yourself into not feeling lonely via money. Asterisk is the example for this section. You push yourself and everyone around you. What's left is money and success. I mean, how could you ever be lonely? You have money. How could you ever be lonely? You can buy a connection, but it's never truly the same, is it? You feel weak? You can just buy power. But of course, money doesn't equal you. It never will. Money won't ever buy you a human connection or understanding you so desire. I'm talking about a genuine soul-like comprehension. What we're left with is someone who can never truly be themselves, instead showing a tough exterior with only one emotion. It's a loneliness built with fear of what could happen if you were ever left vulnerable, afraid of what might come if they ever do. Loneliness is a broad and interesting topic that anybody can relate to, such as losing someone close to you could be a family member or a partner via breakup. What used to be filled with their energy is now gone. The warmth you used to feel just being close to them, the thought that they'll always be there, all gone, all empty. It's a different type of loneliness, the one where you feel like the piece of a puzzle is missing. We all plug in that missing puzzle piece in different ways. Reactions and healing may be different, but deep down, we're all quite similar. Let me remind you, this is Yappin with Max, so my topics might go all over the place. Since I know what I want to talk about, I just don't know how I'm meant to convey them via looking straight at a camera. One thing leads to another, and since we're human, we strive for a connection and understanding. What starts off as something you can easily pinpoint as being lonely soon turns into desperation. The desperate need of understanding and the lingering feeling that maybe you just aren't worth it. We spoke about how loneliness can lead to having a superiority complex, but the opposite is also true. Feeling inferior stems from loneliness and is a lot more common, because what happens when you're lonely and crave for someone to understand you? You become desperate and obsessed for any kind of relationship. You start to put the needs of others before your own, which leads to what is known as a savior complex. Now this is where shit starts to get interesting, and this position hurts. It's a form of dependence in which someone needs to feel appreciated and useful to others, focusing on the needs and desires of everyone but yourself. So this means, of course, naturally, we have to bring Cody back into the conversation. Wanting to be a hero, focusing on goals that aren't your own, feeling the need to prove yourself to people who don't actually care about you. These are all things Cody is written around, stemming from his loneliness, even though he comes across as a typical hero with unrealistic ideals. Deep down, he's the most flawed character introduced so far. Heroes like Cody typically want to help others because they don't see their own value, believing they're not worthy of love. Helping and saving everyone around them gives them a reason to feel appreciated, feeling like they're worth something. Alright, we're getting a bit somber here. I apologize for the whiplash I just caused, but like I said, this is Yappin with Max, so everything is all over the place, and that includes my mood. What I do want to reiterate is that we're all very similar, but also vastly different. Whatever it may be, the savior complex is the step in the right direction to healing. It means you have the strength to help someone, to want to save someone. And if you can do that, or even think that way, it means it's possible to save yourself. Become the person you needed when you were younger. So while recording this, I realized there was a hole in my sock. Like, there was a hole in my sock. That's disgusting, dog. That's nasty as hell, dog.